All right, good evening and welcome everyone to our very special event tonight. My name is Gina Moran and I'm very honored and grateful to be here with all of you and all of these medical professionals as they speak out tonight on Redox. Joining us tonight are 6 medical professionals here to share their personal and their professional experience with redox signaling molecules, along with the company behind this 21st century breakthrough in health science. Truly a category creator, what some people are saying 10 to 15 years ahead of itself. So if you've ever wondered what redox can do for you or maybe a loved one, or even maybe why you may want to take a deeper look at this legacy company, you couldn't be in a better place than right here tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to ask each one of our medical professionals to introduce themselves, stating their name, their profession, and just tell us how long you've been on Redox. Dr. David, would you like to kick it off?
Sure. Can you hear me, Gina?
I can.
Hey, well, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for asking me. My background's podiatry and foot surgery from the Washington, D.C. area. I live in Florida in the wintertime now. Didn't think I'd be retired from podiatry at 60 years old, but I am, and it's wonderful. But I own my own practice in Maryland. I was board certified in foot surgery and foot orthopedics, and I had my own ambulatory surgery center. And I was introduced to ASEA December of 2010 by a dear friend. And she had no idea that someone in my family was ill, but they were, and that's what grabbed my attention, 10 years ago.
And I'm Grant Rodkey. I assume you're done, David, there, but I have a doctorate in dental medicine from Oregon Health Sciences University. I've been practicing dentistry for 23 years. And I was introduced to the redox molecules 7 years ago by my sister when we had a family emergency, and the redox signaling came into our lives at just the right time.
Yanni, would you like to tell us?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Hi, I'm Dr. Yanni Feliciano. And I'm a health and wellness coach as well as a chiropractor for the last 34 years. I'm the author of 2 best-selling books, No More Fatigue and Should I Get a Chiropractor? I was introduced to these wonderful little molecules back in 2018. And I absolutely love them. My purpose is to help as many people as I can live their life to the fullest without any limitations, not only today, but into the future. And I definitely feel that this technology is helping me live my purpose.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joe Parecka. I practice chiropractic just south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been in active practice for 36 years. And I was introduced to these wonderful redox molecules by my good friend, Dr. Yanni Feliciano, and it was in 2018. So thank you, Dr. Yanni.
You're welcome.
My name is Leland Duck. I started off my profession as a orthopedic physician assistant for about 13 years, and then that led me to opening a company to selling medical supplies to all the surgeons that I had worked for. That led me to a chain of retail stores, and that led me into manufacturing of the actual products. So for the last 40 years, I've been manufacturing orthopedic sports braces for physician offices around the country, high schools, colleges, professional sports, top professional tennis players, the Olympic teams since '81, and also all 156 veterans hospitals around the country. So I'm really an entrepreneur at heart. I'm also a cattle rancher for 26 years, but I got involved with this company, and it has gone to my #1 now.
Hi, I'm Jerry White. I'm a former research physical therapist, but coached at the international level in swimming and triathlons, compete in triathlons at my old age of 66, and my wife's even better at 61. We were introduced about 9 years ago, and it took a few acts of God and Congress to get my attention. But boy, howdy, we're into this. It's absolutely a joy to be here, and looking forward to the event.
Wonderful. Thank you all. So we're going to start off tonight by just asking a few of you to share with our listeners, what information did you look at? How did you educate yourself? And how did you become knowledgeable and build your belief in these molecules? David, I want to start out with you because, I know that a lot of you really dug deep, and I think some of you even looked at the science behind the science, but just share with our listeners, what did you look at? How did you come to this understanding?
Well, as I said initially, my dad was pretty ill. He had an issue that no one wants to ever hear they have in any part of their body. And so that was my motivation to dig. And even though it seemed a little too good to be true, or very too good to be true, when my friend told me what happened with her mother's joint problems and breathing problems, and I saw her skin problem was better, that was my sole motivation, was my dad. And as doctors, we like to see studies, and there were not a lot of studies. But I did talk to a lot of doctors who had experience with it. And I looked at the research. I went to pubmed.gov. There were about, I think, 5,000, 6,000 studies, peer-reviewed studies, articles on redox signaling molecules. And not on ASEA specifically, just on redox signaling. And that science didn't exist when I was in school in the 80s. These redox molecules were, well, they're called reductants and oxidants. There was no known function. And when I looked at the literature, I said, wow, when did this happen? And it was early 90s, they discovered a function for them. So for my dad, real quickly, I just wanted to know if it was safe. Once I heard enough anecdotals and I saw the science, I said, okay, well, when I would write prescriptions for people or do surgery, I would tell them the risks, right? There's potential benefit, potential risk. So I wanted to know what was the potential risk with this. And what stunned me was that the product, you could not be allergic to it because it's inside of us. We make it, so nobody can be allergic to it. It's impossible. And it doesn't interfere with any other courses of treatment, okay? Because my dad was also going through another treatment, a treatment. But what blew me away was there was no toxicity to it. Every medication has a lethal dose. If you look up LD50, lethal dose 50, at what dose will this medication kill 50% of the rats it's tested on? They couldn't find an LD50 for this. So it was so different than a medication. It's not a nutritional, not a medication. So quite frankly, for me to know, get my father on the product, I want to know if it was safe. I saw it was as safe as water. Came with a money back guarantee too, but I didn't really care about that. But what built my belief was the results, was watching what happened with my dad, with myself, with other people. For me, I didn't have a dramatic experience. I had more energy, could have been mental. People said I look thinner, maybe I lost a little weight. I didn't know. My aha moment, so that put the placebo argument to bed, I had a split in a fingernail for years that it would never grow out. 2 months, I'm drinking this stuff, I'm clipping my nails, and the split grew out. So it doesn't seem like a big deal, but I like to get to the point where I see something that absolutely cannot be a placebo. And for me, that was like the beginning of a journey that's just blown me away for the past 9 years.
Thank you. Leland?
Gina, for me, I had a health challenge that was going on for 14 months. And a friend of mine had reached out to me in this company and shared this with me. And like Dr. Silverman said, I had not studied at my medical training. I didn't know what redox was, didn't think it was real. Matter of fact, I kind of laughed at him and called it snake oil because I just thought he was just trying to sell me something. But after 14 months of treatment and I wasn't better and I was going through everything you can imagine, I was desperate. And my friend reached out to me again and said, hey, this can help you. And he said, you need to take a look at it. So I went to pubmed.gov, started looking. There was about 14,600 articles at that time. And it intrigued me enough that I wanted to know more. I wasn't skeptical, I was cynical. And so immediately I got on a flight and flew out to the company and met the executive team, went through their plant. I was impressed with what I saw, and I don't impress easy with certain businesses, but I was wowed that day. And it gave me hope. And that day that I met them, I couldn't even function properly. I told myself, if this works for me, I'm gonna be your biggest cheerleader. I came home and started taking the product, and immediately in the first week, I started seeing results. Second week, my depression had lifted. In the third week, my hands began to function properly. This was just amazing to me. And of course, with my background in medicine, all I could think of was, wow, how many people do I know that needs this? If it happened to me, can it happen for them? And I just started that exploration, and I went to 30 people and I saw results with those 30. And that's where my journey really started with this company. But I also got a book out there called Redox Life by A.S. Nadeau. It talks about how Redox works within the body. And I read through this and looked at all the different things. And I realized that the Olympic players were taking this product, and I've worked with the Olympic teams for the last for years, making their braces. I knew if it was good enough for them, it was good enough for me, that it was, like David said, non-toxic, zero toxicity. And I was seeing the effects of all the things I had been on for 14 months, and I was ready to see something different. And so I changed, and this thing just totally changed my life, not only physically, but now financially. And I just continued to a double-blind placebo study the company did, continued to find any article I could on Redox. And that's how I've built my knowledge with this company, not only reading it, but seeing it work for real in people's lives around the world. It doesn't get any better than that. Proof's in the pudding.
And hi, I'm Jerry White, and in my field of physical therapy and coaching, there were several overlapping pieces that brought me to this. And first, what I wanted to do was to study the history. Where did it come from, the path and the origin? And it was a fascinating story that each one of you can look at. I've never seen anything like it, how it didn't qualify to fit into the major categories and was safer than anything we'd ever used before. Then I began to look at it from professional experience. I wanted to do some tests that I developed in my gait analysis and human performance lab on how the body reacts to challenges. And there were some very crazy reproducible tests I could do over and over again. And that started to really get my mind wrapped around it again. And then went to the professional literature and looked up and said, what is this? How is it possible? Again, back probably to PubMed in those days. And then I did professional assessments on things like how people move, how far they can move, and how that changed in a very short period of time. I'm one of those kind of, what really matters is that it works, and it was working, and it was working consistently over and over and over again. Then I tried it athletically, and to be able to get more intensity over a longer period of time with a lower heart rate was staggering to me. I began to then look farther into it with athletic mobility and coordination. Finally, we went into stories of real people like Leland, that I got a chance to go to his house one night, and here he was all busted up and to break through. Those kinds of things change your life. And then finally, the effects on my family. And it's just been from there, here we go.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. So I want to go now to Dr. Joe Parecka. Joe, I want to know, you've been a chiropractor for many, many years. I'm sure you've seen just about every, vitamin, mineral, juice product, herb, oil, and every health supplement come through your office and across your desk. So tell us why do you feel so confident in highly recommending redox signaling molecules, maybe even over some of these other supplements to, your family, to your friends, and also to your patients?
Well, when I was first introduced, as I mentioned earlier, by Dr. Yanni Feliciano, she didn't have to say anything. She didn't give me any, technical science or anything. She sent me a couple of pictures, before and after pictures of her patients. And that caught my attention right away, because I know and like and respect Dr. Yanni. So I called her right away and I said, well, what is this? And she said, it's ASEA. And I said, oh, you mean salt water? And little did I know, it's a lot more than salt water. So I went out to the facility in Utah, and I met the corporate team. I mean, they're just a class act out there. The manufacturing facility is top notch. And I saw that it was way more than salt water. I learned about these redox signaling molecules that, I had heard about, but I really got to learn more in depth about what they are and what they can do. And since then, I've seen many, many benefits for my patients. And, when the doctors take an oath, in that oath is first, do no harm. And so there's no side effects with this. It's just side benefits. And I feel very confident in using it, knowing that these molecules are native to our body, and it's not going to cause any problems. It can only help the patient. It's not going to ever hurt them. So I've seen a lot of miraculous things in the last couple of years using the Redox molecules.
And I have too. I have absolutely seen so much in my office. In fact, when I first got introduced to it from Amy Bowman, she's a holistic health practitioner. I was sitting across the dinner table with her and I was kind of just rubbing my neck because I had some discomfort, and she had some of the topical molecules. So I put it on there and I couldn't believe the difference in just a couple of minutes from having, discomfort and not. And the next night I went to see Jerry White at a seminar he was doing in Southern California. That's where I'm from. He wowed me with a bunch of before and after pictures. And I've used a lot of different products in my office, different supplements that work really well. But what I found was with these molecules, in addition to eating properly and a healthy diet, they enhance what everything else is doing for our body. It's combining that labor with like vitamins and minerals or building blocks. This is actually the cell signaling, so it allows our body to completely function at a high quality, faster, better. As a chiropractor, I've always been involved with how the body functions, getting the brain and the body to communicate properly. When I first heard about this, I'm like, this is like chiropractic in a bottle. It was amazing. So I've had a lot of patients that I've recommended the product to. I am completely on board with recommending this product because every day, not a day goes by, people are coming up to me and they're saying, oh, Dr. Yanni, thank you so much for recommending this to me. They're telling me about their family. They're telling me about their situation. And it's something that wasn't being able to be fully resolved before. So I'm completely on board. I love this product. I take it myself. I have my family taking it. And I recommend it to all of my patients, especially the ones that are having issues and chronic situations that aren't going away otherwise.
Dr. Grant, you're muted. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to say also that I can recommend these Redox molecules highly to anybody I know and love, and maybe even some people I don't care so much for. But it's not just based on my own product experiences I've seen so many changes in people's lives, the results, and including mine, but also in just the prolific third-party published science. PubMed was mentioned earlier, and there's just so much science out there that I have a real strong confidence in the background of this. This is a very new concept for people, but with all the third-party science established, it just shows me that redox biochemistry is legitimate and it's powerful. It's a legitimate, powerful technology in every conceivable area of health. The question people ask a lot of times is, well, will it help with this? Well, will it help with that? And the best answer I've heard is a question back. Does what you're describing involve a cell? And thinking through our whole body, it's like, yeah, I can't. Oh, I have a filling in there. That's not made out of a cell, but everything else involves a cell. And so the other thing too is, in addition to all the independent research, the PubMed articles, all those things, is that the ASEA Corporation invests in what I call "let the chips fall where they may" research from highly respected third-party labs that are considered the best in the world. And we have one in Germany, Dermatest, that did our skin testing. And so what I mean by when I say let the chips fall where they may, what I mean by that is that the ethics of ASEA are of primary importance. And unlike many companies, ASEA doesn't pay for predetermined outcomes. They don't say this is what we want to reach, but they, they're very honest, very ethical. And that gives me unwavering confidence in the research, the product, and the corporation. So I don't have any hesitation standing very strongly behind this. But besides the flagship breakthrough of redox signaling molecules, the ASEA company is also committed to developing other products and technologies to support all aspects of cellular health and human performance. And so I think the future of ASEA is very exciting. Just when you can't think it could get any better, it does. And then I just wanted to finish by saying that there are no doubtful statements in my mind like, well, I hope this will work for my friends. No, there's no hoping. I'm confident that it will work, and it will work for anyone open to this breakthrough technology.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not a matter of if or even when, right? We know these molecules are working 30 minutes from ingestion. And actually, I've actually had live blood microscopists tell me that, people who draw your blood and look at it live under a microscope. And as we all know, blood doesn't lie, right? We also know, David, that I think, most people understand today it's really our responsibility, right, to take ownership of our own health. It's not up to your doctor to keep you well. We need to take ownership. So what would you say to people who are looking to improve their health, maybe turn around unwanted health conditions, maybe prevent health conditions from coming? I always say, let's put the ambulance at the top of the cliff, right? Not the bottom of the cliff. And more importantly, what about anti-aging? Guys, I'm 8 years older since I started drinking these molecules, and I feel like I look 8 years younger. I feel 8 years younger. So you can't put a price on that. So what would you say to people, David?
Well, first of all, you mentioned, people having existing conditions and preventing things. We don't claim this helps any condition. We can't, because this is not a pharmaceutical. So I just want to make that really clear, that we don't make claims that it cures, heals, treats, diagnoses anything, and it doesn't prevent anything. Okay. And in fact, it doesn't. The body can do what it's supposed to do if it gets what it needs. And I put in the chat a little video I shot to kind of explain this, because it doesn't sound like anybody's going to be explaining it in this presentation, but I feel like I must give a 60-second simple explanation. What's in this bottle is in you. It's in all of us. Redox signaling molecules made in the mitochondria. And when you're young, your mitochondria are really efficient and you have a lot, and you produce a lot. And you produce less in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. So I'm 60 years old. My mitochondria is producing this much. And things change. You see, we heal slower. We get more health issues. Our skin changes. All of these things, right? When you consume this, you are raising your levels back up to what they were when you were younger. When people talk about the fountain of youth, you didn't think it was going to come in a blue bottle made from salt water, right? Now, again, this is patented. It's not salt and water anymore, but it's made from saline, because that's what your cells make it from. That's what your mitochondria are swimming in. So I need to get that across, at least so people have some context as what we're talking about. But when you say, what can people do to say for their health, and for their youth and for their energy, we all see our grandparents age. We see our parents age. If you're old enough, you see yourself age. You look in the mirror one day and you're like, whoa, what happened? And I forgot who mentioned it's about cells, but that's what it is. Our body's made up of cells, and our cells are not rejuvenating themselves like they did when we were younger. That's what this does. I would say the best thing you do is you drink between 4 and 8 ounces a day of this product to raise your levels back up with zero risk. You put the gel on your skin. You baseline everything in your health before you start: energy, sleep, libido, ringing in your ears, wheezing, everything that's not perfect. Get a baseline before you start and have at it with no risk using this product. And if you want expectations, I find 15% of people in 1 week are thrilled. 60% of people in 30 days are thrilled. 90% of people in 90 days are thrilled. If you're not a fast responder and you're waiting for your aha moment, I have to say this. Everybody that gets this product, when it comes, baseline everything, start drinking it, put the gel on your face, but go find 10 people that have something in their body that hurts them. You, your spouse, your parents, your neighbors, doesn't matter. Find 10 people who are hurting. Say, give me 10 minutes. 10 minutes, that's all I want. They may not drink this because they don't know what it is yet, but when you show them before and after pictures of wrinkles, and you take the gel and you show them it's clear with no smell and no greasiness, and I'm putting it on my face, they'll put it on their neck, they'll put it on their back, they'll put it on their menstrual cramp, they'll put it on their carpal tunnel area, but have them rate their discomfort on a scale of 1 to 10, put this on 3 times in 5 minutes, and ask them again at 10 minutes how they feel. And I promise you, I mean, I hate to say God is my witness and swear to God, but you watch what happens. You listen really carefully to not what 1 or 2 of them say or 5 or 6. Listen to what between 8 and 10 of them tell you. And they could be open-minded, happy people or closed-minded cynics. As long as they're honest and they rate it at minute 0 and minute 10, you will know that this is magnificent. And you will be very, very compliant taking this product the proper way. And you will probably stand from rooftops like we are saying, please listen to me, please. You don't have to sit with naked in the wind and hope that you don't get sick with something or something strikes you. There are things you can do to help your body protect itself. And that's my best, more than my 2 minutes, but that's what I can share.
Love your passion. Love your passion. And you're absolutely right. I just want to say that these statements that we have been talking about and that you've mentioned here today have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So with that, we'll move to Mr. Jerry White.
Thank you. Well, what would I say to somebody? It's kind of an interesting thing to wrap your head around, this new discovery of how life works. You see, life is a moving target and health is a moving target. It's constantly changing because the environment, the lifestyle, the poisons around us, how we eat, our lack of sleep, lack of exercise, lack of good love, and not talking to people the right way, all loneliness, all these things packed together are constantly making change. And what's amazing is that our cells in the body are built to adapt to those changes, and they do them incredibly well when you're a little kid. Remember how you used to eat stuff and you could eat anything and it didn't come back up at you? Your body was able to process all kinds of things, and you had the energy to jump out and run and to jump over things. You haven't changed in your DNA. And over the course of time, maybe it's how we assess the information that comes in and the life challenges and the experiences. Think of resistive exercise. Your body can actually move in a positive direction toward really finding itself. It puts you in a position of kind of health beyond danger so that you can fight things by letting the cells talk to themselves internally. Tens of thousands of types of reactions have to occur. You have to know when to go on and when to go off. That's really hard if you're trying to be a medical professional, to pick one and know when to start. And oop, gosh, we went too long. But the cell has all of that in it. So it's brilliant that we could take a discovery and find out how to reestablish the communication, then stand back and wonder and watch what happens. Just like David was saying, just like Grant was saying, it is all about the fact that it will work. Just go for it.
Yeah, if someone's debating whether or not they should try ASEA, I go back to the old saying, look, do you have cells in your body? If you have cells in your body, you should try ASEA, because these redox molecules are native to our bodies. They're created in our bodies from the time of birth. We just have less and less of them as we age. And we know that these wonderful molecules help the cells communicate with one another. So it really helps to, without getting too technical, helps to balance the body out. We call it homeostasis, but it brings the body into balance, and it allows your body to work as the miracle that it was meant to be. So there's nothing to lose by trying ASEA, because those molecules are already in our bodies. There's no side effects. You can only benefit from it. Like I said earlier, there's no side effects, just side benefits.
Absolutely. And that's what we love about it the most. So let's just lighten it up for just a minute now. Let's just see if we can take 1 minute and answer this question, but I'm not sure. But I really want to ask you guys what your favorite experience is with ASEA. Now, this could be, on the product side, on the company side, whatever your favorite experience has been. David?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Please.
One thing is I saw a comment in the chat about, where's all the larger studies and why don't we know about this? I think it's very important for people to understand something. This is a breakthrough. This is a disruptive innovation, as we say. So when you think about the size of the industry that just for one category of a product for people that hurt, think about how many people take something, a medication or something for things that hurt. This is not a medicine, okay? But if you go out and you put this on 10 people, and remember, this is very important, you put it on 10 people who are hurting, and in 10 minutes, you're stunned by the percentage of people that say, wow, where do I get this? And you look, it's made from salt and water. Number one, a person knows that this is real. Number two, they realize that everybody in the world's going to find out about it eventually because it's so darn obvious, because you just put it on 10 people and most of them were stunned. But also you wonder, well, why don't we know about it? And I'll just state this, that paradigms are hard to change, and lobbyists are hard to change too. So if you're looking for huge studies and validation on specific diseases, you're not going to find it. And if you need that to believe, then walk away for now. You'll come back later, okay? We're not in the convincing game anymore. I bring this to people to share it with them. It's a gift. It's a scientific miracle is what it is. And if they're not receptive to it, I let them walk away. I pity them and I pity the people they know because they're not going to find out about it for a while. So I just want to state that. I've had so many ridiculous things that made me cry that I've seen happen. Some people calling me 3 months later and telling me what happened with their children who hadn't spoken a word in their life and they're communicating. Things that have happened in 6 months. Things that happen instantly are always stunning. I'll tell you one that's in his mind that I'm going to tell you. It was a pastor, about 70 years old, and she had something happen to her where her hand was weak. One side was fine, one side was weak. And she wanted to know if this would help. And we were doing a presentation. And I had heard somebody talk about taking the gel and putting it over like over where your pulse is, where your carotid, your vagus nerve in the back of your neck. I had her squeeze my hand as hard as she could with her good hand, and she had a good grip. Then I had her squeeze with the weak hand, and she was struggling, and it hardly felt it. And I said, just try this. I don't know. So she puts it on. She puts it on 3 times in 5 minutes. I'm talking to someone else who was using it for their knee, which was feeling tremendously better. And all of a sudden she stands up and she's like, oh my God, oh my God. And I go, what? And she goes, look at my hand. Well, I didn't even notice that she couldn't move her hand. And then I said, grip my hand. And I was like, oh my God, that stunned me. And people want to know the mechanism of action. I don't fully understand it. And Leland held up this book. There's 1,000 textbooks on redox biochemistry. That's the moment I realized that Dr. David Silverman on the medical board of this company doesn't know squat about this product, because that shocked the living heck out of me. And I am, like I say, I'm bulletproof like everybody else is here. And I just pray to God that people who are listening take this very, very seriously for you or for someone you love.
Well, I'd like to just say that I've got a couple experiences, but I think my favorite experience revolves around how we found out about this in the first place. And that is watching my 97-year young mom and my 98-year young dad, uncharacteristically unbelievable health for their age. People don't believe it. People don't believe it. My dad recovered from a traumatic brain injury 7 years ago. He slipped on what we call black ice up here in the Northwest, and he came down on his skull and had 3 brain bleeds. And he went into a major surgery. And right at that time, my sister found out about redox molecules, wanted me to get them to him. And I said, no, I'm not going to put something I don't know in my dad's mouth in the hospital and get kicked out. But anyway, it was amazing because after no more than a year, he was showing off, and Gina reminded me of this, that he could do 75 jumping jacks. Now, just think of the trauma on your brain when you're doing jumping jacks, but he was able to do a lot. He just loved showing that off. And that was after having to undergo some accelerated speech, physical and occupational therapy. And the therapists were just amazed at how quickly he recovered at his age. He was 91 years old at the time, 90, and now he was that old. Now he's young. And that was just to function again. But his recovery was fueled by Redox. And much discomfort that he had, like David was saying, was resolved by using the Renew 28 gel topically. And with my mom, that was a big thing, because we saw a reversal of a brain aging symptoms. And she had these brain aging symptoms that a lot of people are familiar with as they get in that stage. But we saw a big reversal in her brain aging symptoms, and it brought her back to her sweet, yet feisty personality. Amazingly, I was sort of curious, but we found out that she has now outlived all of her known ancestors, and some of which her sister and her mom both died from the same brain aging condition. So on the physical aspect, those are my favorites. But I have to say the other experience that I really is one of my favorites. It's an ongoing experience, and that is developing relationships with the most incredibly genuine and smart people that I've met. I mean, they all have the same goal, and that is to be a force for good in the world and to make a positive difference in the lives of those around them. And I just, Jerry White and Gina Moran and Dr. Dick Walker. These are some of the first people that I've met, and I'm so blessed to be living in the same city as these individuals.
Thank you, Grant.
Well, what is my favorite experience? I have so many. Besides the many benefits I've personally experienced, my patients, my family, I think my favorite experience, I'm going to talk about my horse. My horse, I know Gina wanted me to talk about my horse, and David was talking about that there is no placebo there's placebo in people, but in animals, there's absolutely no placebo. What happened with my horse was he developed this fast growing mass on his face. I get to the barn one day, all of a sudden I see like this mole or something, and horses don't have moles. And very rapidly it started to grow. So I called my vet immediately because I wanted her to remove it. One, I knew it wasn't good. It was ugly. I just wanted her to come down and take it off. She came down. When she looked at it, she said, "This is a lot more complicated than just taking it off at the barn." She recommended that I get him set up in a hospital setting. They were going to remove the mass. They were going to biopsy the mass, probably do some laser and some chemical beads, put it in there. And I basically talked to her about the Redox technology. She had never heard of it. She didn't know. She said, "Go ahead, put it on there." So I was putting the topical molecules on his face. Very soon, I'd say within a month, the appearance looked different. It just started to look like it was drying up. And shortly after that, I went to the barn, and I get there and the thing is almost hanging off. It's hanging on by a thread. Now, in the interim, the vet had told me it can't get disturbed. I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this thing is like hanging off of his face. So I called her, and she wanted to biopsy it. And I told her, well, if you need to biopsy it, you need to come right away, because I don't know how much longer it's going to hold on. He might rub it off and it just might come off. So she came down, she snipped the last little piece off, and basically took it to biopsy it. So in the interim, I kept putting the gel on. about a month later, she gave me the results of the biopsy and wanted to schedule the hospital treatment that she was talking about before. And I asked her, I go, do we need to do that? I mean, it's gone. It's healed. The hair has grown back. It's not there anymore. And she couldn't believe it. She's like, no, it has tentacles. It's got to be, taken care of. And I said, I know, I'm a chiropractor. I'm feeling there's nothing there. So she came down. She looked at it. She was shocked. She says, I've never seen anything like this. Even with the treatment that she was going to do, she says it would never look like this so fast or ever. And basically she said, keep using your miracle molecules. And that was that. That was back in 2019. It has never come back. She told me that this was characterized by, reoccurrence. It's never come back. I still always put a little of the gel, or I spray the liquid molecules on there just because I don't want it to come back. I don't know if I need to do that or not, but I'm going to do it. And it just warms my heart because this is my personal horse and I love him very much. And it saved me thousands of dollars. The care that she had recommended was going to cost thousands of dollars. And not only did it help him, but he never had to go back. So every time she comes for other stuff, she's always looking at his face, looking, inspecting to see, is it coming back? And she still can't believe it. So that's that. I'm super excited about that story among other ones. It's just the one that kind of fills my heart with happiness and joy. And so anyway.
Exciting, Yanni. And I know you have before and after pictures posted on, I'm not sure if it's a Sia Healthy Self or it's on the animal site.
It's on the animal site. I have those pictures on there.
So people could find that. Do you remember the name of your, is it, I forget the name of our animal Facebook site.
A Sia Healthy Animals, or I don't even know.
Pets, yeah, something.
If somebody knows it, maybe they could put it in the chat or we could figure out.
Please
but
do,
the pictures are there. Or if they want to, connect with me or you, I think I sent you copies of those pictures as well. They're incredible. It's incredible. The difference.
And as you said, animals can't have a placebo effect. So there you go.
I know they have the animalwebinar.com, I think.
I think that's where the webinars are recorded. Yeah, but do we have a Facebook? Okay, so we're going to move on to Dr. Joe. What was your favorite experience?
I've had lots of great experiences in the last couple of years, but there's one that really stands out in my mind. And listen, if I could show you the before and after picture of this, I could turn my computer off and walk away. I wouldn't have to say one word, and you would all be astounded and amazed. But let me tell you, since I don't have the before and after pictures, let me tell you this quick short story. I have a patient that's a nurse practitioner, and she has another nurse practitioner she works with. And her father, this nurse practitioner she works with, had to have a growth removed from the top of his scalp. And it had to be removed. It was a life-threatening growth. And once they removed that growth, it left a lesion, a crater that was about 2 inches in diameter. And it was all the way to the bone. You could see the skull bone. After a month of trying different things, it was actually 5 or 6 weeks, there was no change in this lesion. So my patient said, "Can you think of something?" And I said, "Yeah, let's try ASEA." And her coworker, who this was her father, was very reluctant. She did not want to try it, but we convinced her to try it. And she started spraying the ASEA liquid on it. He didn't even drink the molecules. We just sprayed it topically, and then we used renewed gel. And within 1 month's time, that crater had filled in, and he was very happy about the result. And where nothing else worked, ASEA worked. So that was really a gratifying experience for me and him as well. So, it's just amazing some of the things that you see with when the body works as the miracle it's meant to be. and it gets rebalanced, and the cells communicate with one another. It's a phenomenal experience. It is a miracle.
Gina, for me, there's just so many. You asked for one really great experience, but I hate to even use myself, but I was a guy that was healthy. I played college ball. I played some basketball overseas. I came back. I'm a cattle rancher. I'm always used to being physical. And then I had a health challenge. I went to bed fine one night, and I woke up the next morning and my hands were like this. I couldn't take the cap off the bottle of water. I couldn't dress myself. Had trouble going to the bathroom by myself. Very humiliating 14 months in my life where I really didn't care if I was here or not. I didn't want to live like that. I'd never been like that before. And to find something that changed my life so drastically, hey, all I can do is just tell people what it did for me. And what I've seen now in over 4 years of this product, and how many lives I've seen change with so many, from very minor things to real major stuff, I see it change. To be able to, it's great to help on a surgery and put an athlete back on the field. I'm helping for a game or maybe for a season. But to be able to share this with somebody that changes the dynamics of their life, how they live, a mom, a dad, a family member, it's the most gratifying thing I've done in my career. So I live every day to share this technology, what I call Western medicines versus new technology. I was the last one to want to look at it. I thought it was crazy. But when you get results on yourself, it opens your eyes a little bit. And then the more you talk it, the more you see, the more you want to get into this. And, just like Dr. Joe said, it's amazing what we see here. And for people to just understand that this product is zero toxicity, it cannot hurt you. You have everything to gain. You have nothing to lose by trying it. There's even a 30-day money-back guarantee. So why not? That's my question. Why not? And I've seen some of my close family members with very challenging medical issues get well too. And when you love a family member and you care for them and you see a change, that belief even comes stronger and stronger and stronger. So knowing that we've got a science, Huffington Post says it's one of the top 5 emerging sciences in the world today. That's huge, what we have our hands on. Like Dr. Shulman said, we're not on trial anymore. The science is there. Go do your homework. Don't be dumb like I did for 2 years and said no to it because I didn't study my medical training. It's very real, and it's very gratifying to be able to reach out. And on top of that, now after running multiple companies over my career as an entrepreneur, to be able to grow this fast with this company financially, it's now taken over my number one source of income. I would have never dreamed it. I didn't care about looking at this as a business. As a matter of fact, I wasn't interested in the business. I was interested in getting healthy, because when I was sick, everything else didn't matter. My ranch, my home, my business, I'd have easily given it all up. And for this to change my life, I feel I have an obligation now to share this with people that are going through not even similar things, just anything. Every diagnosis we could probably talk about tonight, or not even a diagnosis, just an ailment. It all starts with inflammation or oxidation at the cellular level. And that's what this product is patented to do, is to get to the cellular level as a communication tool. And that's what the beauty of this science. It's that it's already in your body. It's the lack of that's causing problems sometimes. And like Dr. Silman said, you just fill those levels back up. I look 8 or 10 years younger today than I did 4 years ago when I started this product. I'm able to do things on my ranch and physical things that I couldn't do 4 or 5 years ago. So for me, it's just about not selling. It's about telling about this beautiful science and how it's changing people's lives around the world.
Leland, thank you for your transparency. And, as we know, there's no amount of money that could ever buy your health back, right? And so I'm sure you'll be forever grateful to the person who introduced you to Redox.
I am very, very much so. Terry Latham. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Jerry, what's your favorite? You must have a bazillion of them up your sleeve.
Well, once you have a bazillion, your life changes a little bit. And what I got to see in Leland's life, I've begun to see in so many lives. Life is more than just a lack of health, a lack of feeling good, a lack of not hurting. Life goes much deeper and richer. And one of the most amazing things about being in the forefront of a breakthrough technology, you can feel it. You can feel it in the hearts and stories of these people. And they're real people. But some of the things that we can do once we take care of those initial issues, just like Leland said, after he took care of that issue, there were other things that became very important to change other people's lives. Look at life is much more rich when we can give it away. And then there's another stack on top of that. Teach people to be autonomous. Teach them to have the time and the energy and sometimes the financial situations to be able to be done with themselves, gather together with a group of people, share what matters to you, and grow to where you become more and more of a servant and selfless. I've seen it so many times. It's what hooks me every day. The fascinating of the technology is amazing, but it's the ability to grow as a human being in so many different ways to make the biggest possible difference in our lives. That's my favorite experience, and I get to watch it so many times. Pass it back to you.
Thank you, Jerry. And you certainly have blessed and changed so many lives in so many ways. We thank you so much for that. So, guys, this is it, okay? ASEA redox signaling molecules are the greatest scientific achievement since the discovery of penicillin or human DNA. Whether you realize it or not, that's the facts. It truly is. There are multi-millions of dollars already, dumped into the research of this technology. So it's not on trial. It is real. And here's the thing: the Huffington Post has even stated that this is the #4 emerging science in the world today. So it's out there. If you need to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you need to do the due diligence, or if you just need to, listen to what these health professionals are saying today, I'm here to tell you that this is something that you don't want to miss, and you definitely want to get it out there. But with everything we know about the product and the technology, being a category creator, probably 10 to 15 years ahead of itself, I want to wrap it up with this one final question. So, guys, why would a successful professional like yourself choose to align yourself with the #1 global cellular health giant in the world to create an additional income? Maybe it's a retirement income. Maybe it's a plan B. Maybe it's a part-time, sometime, big time income. But what is it that drives you to align yourself with this company? And maybe you can speak to the integrity of the company, because I know many of you have met them personally. So Leland, let's start out with you.
Well, for me as an entrepreneur, I've built and sold a few companies. And once you sell them, you don't get paid on anymore for all the work that you do. And I've built quite a few companies over 10-year stints. When I was unhealthy and I got on this product and my life changed, during that 14 months when I was unhealthy, I had just sold a business where I had a 2-year no compete. And about the time I was ready to gear up and go again at the end of that 2 years, I had my health challenge. And then I went another 14 months. I went 3.5 years with no income. I was blessed that I had put some money back, was able to get through that time. But I really, in my mind, I thought I was going to lose my home, my businesses. If I don't get over this, I'm going to lose everything I've worked for. And when I saw what this product did for me, and I started sharing it with others, and I started seeing how quick it started spreading, I thought, wow, this is crazy. This is maybe more powerful than anything I've ever done in my career. I want to explore this a little more. And I just went out there and started sharing it with everybody and started seeing my business thrive. And I still have 3 companies, but this is now taking over my #1. And I listened to our founder, Tyler Norton, talk about pruning and really taking care of your business. I've just sold one of my businesses. I've this last week, and I'm scaling down on the orthopedic company where I don't have to be there all the time or be in the office. I'm going to focus more on ASEA and my ranch. It's allowed me the freedom with my ranch to pay it off totally now, where I'm not under stress. And this has just been incredible to have to build what I call a residual income that we're going to get paid on for years to come, not something you build and sell and you're done. And during this time over the last year, we've all been through a crisis. This world's been through a crisis. There is no guarantees. There's a lot of people suffering today. And to know that there's something like this that you can do from home with no overhead, you know, no stress. I had 150 employees, one company, 75 with another. I know what the cost of brick and mortar business is. I don't have it here. All I do is go share. The company ships and bills and does everything. I don't even have to inventory. This is the new network marketing, the new technology. And people need to open up and look at this because you don't know where tomorrow is. You know, even physicians that I work with have struggled this year with their practices. This is an opportunity to build a plan B along with what you're currently doing and build something that's yours, that maybe this can't be interrupted down the road, that you can take care of your family and your career. And for me, I know what I'm going to be doing in my retirement years, and it's this. And I just turned 68 a couple of weeks ago. How I feel and what this has brought to me, I can't even put into words. I get emotional about it. That's it.
Well, I believe every healthcare practitioner needs a plan B, because what we do is we trade hours for dollars. So, you know, if God forbid, if I should get sick or be in an accident and I can't go into my office and work, I don't get paid. So all we have to do is let's look back to 2020 and look at all these lockdowns and things where some practitioners couldn't go into their office. So if you have a plan B that's creating income for you at the same time while you're doing great things for people, that's it doesn't get any better than that. So no overhead, like Leland said, and actually you drink your overhead. That's basically what you do, and there's no inventory. I can't think of a better plan B or better business model than what we have here with the SIA. And like I said, I met the corporate team out in Utah, and they're just a class act. So you can feel confident that this income is going to be there for years to come. So I think every healthcare practitioner needs to take a serious look at a plan B such as this, what ASEA has to offer.
Gene, I hate to do this. I got to say one more thing that I left out that's so important. As an entrepreneur, you always want to look at who your business partner is. I am so impressed with the leadership of this company. I've never seen anything like it in 60 years. The strategists, they think out. They're debt-free. They're planning way out. They're honest and they're real. And I just love being around them because it's rare that we see integrity at the corporate level that we have in this company. We have an ethos that's just incredible here of like-minded people that really care about helping others. So if you're that type of person, you really want to look at this, know that we've got somebody at the helm that's running this company. It just allows us to go do what we do, and we don't have to worry about that aspect that I've always had to do with my other businesses. To me, it's the ideal thing.
Okay, Mr. Jerry White.
Oh, I forgot to look at the schedule. Well, I'll tell you, I think the thing that I needed a cause that was bigger than myself. I like to fight for becoming more and being better. I saw it in the hearts and the minds and the eyes of the people who were ahead of me in this game. I saw they knew where they were going, and they were making a much bigger difference together than we could ever make by ourselves. And once I saw that, I developed 5 different points that said, in my family, we were in pretty significant financial difficulty at the time. My kids were off for the first time in our lives, all of them gone. We had to pull kids out of school. And no matter how much I worked, I couldn't keep, I had less and less and less time And so it was time now for us to make a decision about what we would do with the rest of our lives, because I was getting older. We had nothing put away. But to me, the thing that mattered most were these 5 points. I wanted to live a life, an amazing life full of adventure and gratitude to God. Number 2, I wanted to do it with a whole bunch of people that I love and care about. And imagine most of these people are a result of this effort. Just be around people like this. It's crazy. Number 3, I wanted to make a much bigger difference together than we could ever make by ourselves. I wanted to give credit to those who did the work. And I wanted to make enough money to be done with me so that when the time came to do the things that mattered most, time and money made no difference. And that has happened in spades, and I want to pass it on. So that's what I saw, that's what I see, and that's where we're going. Back to you.
And you certainly have, Jerry, and you certainly have paid it forward. And we are all grateful for you and your vision and your servant heart. Thank you so much. So David, we're going to let you wrap this up.
Well, first of all, listening to everybody sharing why they're doing this, I think it's pretty obvious to most people listening that this is not just about making money. You know, money's, it was Zig Ziglar said, money's not the most important thing in life, but it's kind of up there close to oxygen in our world. And 90% of people go through life struggling or settling. 90+% people go through life struggling or settling. So I got a two-part answer. One is having a plan B is very, very smart. Have a source of passive income that comes while you sleep. This is a ripple effect business. You throw a rock in a pond, the ripples go out. If you're the rock, you sink to the bottom, but those ripples keep going. And those ripples go out. And while the rock's sleeping on the bottom and you're sleeping in your bed, those ripples are creating passive income for you. Company spends no money on advertising, they pay us. But if nothing else, as somebody mentioned earlier, this year taught a lot of people a very, very, very painful lesson that if you don't have a plan B, you might have a real problem. And I know there are a lot of practitioners watching this. The most successful people in this business are not practitioners. It's people who just share. You know, we happen to be practitioners. I'm not anymore. I golf half of my life now. But it's very, very wise to have something on the side. You know, COVID didn't really affect me much. I even had COVID on my 60th birthday. Didn't affect me much. If I get it again, I get it again. I'm not running to get an experimental vaccine. But economically, it didn't affect me at all. If I was practicing, my friends in podiatry, they were getting crushed. I mean, they have expenses, they have overhead, and they couldn't see patients, and they're dipping into their savings. And all of a sudden, they could see their retirement age going up in years later and later and later because they were sucking money out of what they needed to live. So I just want to state that, and then I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to share my screen. You know, this is, in fact, that's Debbie Wetzler who brought this to me and my wife, Wendy, right here 10 years ago. I think I owe her my father's life, but you know what? If Cindy did not call Debbie, then Debbie couldn't have brought it to me. So I think I owe my dad's life to Cindy, and Tammy brought it to Cindy, and Denny brought it to Tammy. So these ripples that we talk about are very, very important. Yes, they generate income, but they impact lives. I've got one slide I'm going to show you, and then I'll stop. You know, the question is, and somebody Jerry brought up what's life? So I had this slide that made me think of this. I went and grabbed it. What's happiness to you? Think about this, okay? Because what we're talking about here is a product that is a breakthrough for humanity, but it's created an opportunity, and there's something for everybody. So I think health and wealth is pretty important. And you don't have to be rich to have a yacht, but you just don't want to worry about money. You know, money doesn't make you happy, it makes you comfortable. And there's anybody that's had monetary problems before, and I've had them, it's very stressful. Okay, so that's a couple things, right? And health is number one. What about relationships? You know, love relationships, friendship relationships, pretty important. How about doing what you love and what excites you? I loved what I did as a foot surgeon, but I wasn't excited about having to do it every day of the week and not getting off the treadmill and not knowing when I was going to retire and putting, 3 kids through college, right? But doing what you love and excites you and being paid what you're worth, right? How about making a difference in the lives of other people? I mean, these are the things that I think make people happy. But you know what? One thing that people don't have is time freedom to enjoy all these things. They just don't have the time freedom to enjoy their health, to enjoy their wealth, to enjoy their relationships, making a difference. This business creates time freedom. It creates all of this. And like I say, I started with this because my dad was sick. Whatever door you come into this beautiful room with all these gifts, we just want you to come in with no hidden agenda. And that's not like, oh, the old days in multi-level marketing, let's go out and make a lot of money and tell people their life stinks and they can get rich in yachts. This company has a free car program, home program, and nobody even talks about it. Most of the people in my organization don't even know it exists because we got more important things to talk about than the free car, right? So my closing message is take this very seriously and take what you need now. And if you want some more later, come and get it. But please don't walk away. And if you do, come back to the person who brought it to you when you're more ready. When your doctor tells you to get on it, or your friend isn't using a cane anymore, or a person's skin looks a lot better and they say they're using it. One day you'll be back. I'm just telling you, it's better to know about it now than later. Thanks, Gina.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, David. And, I just want to close with saying that, I appreciate all of you being here tonight and sharing all of your vast knowledge and experience. And I just want to say that, most of you could probably figure it out by now that I'm not a medical professional. I do have a PhD. I have a public high school diploma, but I'm a mom. And I will be forever grateful that Dr. Dick Walker, who is a doctor, brought this to me, not because I was sick physically, but we were sick financially. We had lost a $1.2 million home in the 08-09 mortgage and real estate crisis that some of you may remember. So I just want you to know that if you're someone out there today, whether you're a medical professional or whether you're just someone like myself, a mom, you can find a place here in ASEA. This is a place you can feel safe. You can plant your flag. This is a company that is built on ethos, that creates a culture that attracts, like Dr. Rodkey was saying earlier, like-minded people, sincere people, real people that want to help people, that want to make a meaningful difference in this world, to be a force for good and bring positiveness to this world. And so I will be forever grateful that I've been able to build a legacy business for my 6 children. And, I don't have to stress over the money thing anymore. It's such a relief. It's such a relief. It's not that money is the end all be all, but you know what? It sure helps life to be a lot more comfortable, doesn't it? And I don't know anybody out there today that probably would, have a problem with having a little bit more of it. So if you're someone out there today that's looking for maybe just a way, like, I think Leland said, to create some additional income working from home, a safe place in home, this is it, guys. I highly recommend you take a look at ASEA, take a look at this technology, take a look at this company, and I guarantee you it will look better and better the deeper you look. So I want to thank you for being here tonight.
Hey, Gina, can I mention one thing?
Yes.
I know this will be recorded, but if you're watching it live, and there's still almost 300 people on here, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, there's going to be an amazing presentation at discoverasea.com, discoverasea.com. And if you're watching this as a recording, you're like, oh, I missed it, go watch it at discoverasea.net. The recording will be there. Just wanted to throw that in there because that is a really excellent presentation every Thursday night in the US.
Absolutely. And thank you for that reminder. Every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, discoverasea.com. And you can learn all about this technology and the company behind it. So once again, Gina Moran, thanking all of you for being here with us tonight. I know we went a little bit longer, but I think it was sure worth it. So really appreciate all of you being here with us. And we will see you on the ASEA Highway.
See you later.
See you later. Thanks, everyone.